Welcome to the Barstool College Football Show. It is week 13. It's rivalry week. We are back in New York. We did Maction last week, which looking back on that, Dan, it was awesome at the time. It's even more awesome now. Those crowds were phenomenal.
So much fun. And I know, Dave, we were talking before the second show. I think we never announced it, but we are going back to Bowling Green next year because they won that game.
Yeah, we want to set it up so it's like you rotate who's playing the teams, but if you're the team that wins, we will then bring the show to you. So Bowling Green won. We'll go there. We'll pick an opponent that we haven't gone yet. And if that opponent wins, we'll go back to you. If not, Bowling Green defends the crown and we'll stay at Bowling Green.
Now, if the schedule works out, do we have to also go to Miami of Ohio because they did win?
They did win.
It's a great question, Dan.
Well, let's see if the schedule works out. Bowling Green won the rivalry game. They get first crack at it. And if the schedule works out, maybe we do another Tuesday. I had a great time.
Yeah, so did I.
Yeah, it was great. We rode the RV together. And you got the key to the city, of course. It was scenes, as the kids would say.
Yeah, the whole thing was incredible. Oh, he's taking the jacket.
So, of course, this show is going to, I would assume, have a very heavy Ohio State-Michigan lean because we've been waiting all year for this game. So, Dave.
Well, and it is
the game
of the year.
Well, yeah, of course it is. I mean, I'm
not just because of Fat Boy and me, but it is because it is the game of the year.
Yeah, it's absolutely living up to the hype. And Brandon, last weekend, the slate was kind of meh on paper.
Sure.
But the top teams all struggled a little bit in their own right. But what we ended up getting was 11-0 Ohio State, 11-0 Michigan this weekend.
Well, I mean, you guys were all right. It was a look-ahead spot for everybody. Georgia looked ahead. Michigan looked ahead. Ohio State looked ahead. But I got one little observation here. Dave has showed up in a Michigan jacket and a Michigan shirt. He's ready for the game. Big Ev isn't wearing anything Ohio State.
That's a great
He isn't
observation.
representing anything. It appears that he's not as confident.
Why would that? What do I wear has to do with the
This is rivalry week. He showed up in all Michigan gear. You showed up in just a hoodie.
I'm Ohio State Ev. Like I've been here all year.
One guy's ready for war. The other guy looks like he's just going out, for a drink at the pub.
Like you could, if you saw somebody in the street, they wouldn't even know you're an Ohio State fan. Dave is like Mr. Michigan today.
Or I'm dressed in all black for Michigan's funeral. Black sweatpants too.
That was a good comeback, Ev. Yeah, and it is, it's rivalry week. It is Monday because it's Thanksgiving week. So it's hate week. It's also, I feel like every year when we do this show, feast week comes up. You guys have been betting on college basketball. The World Cup is also going on, so we'll probably time travel. How are you guys feeling this week?
Feast week for Dave and I is notoriously the worst week of the year, gambling, but I love it. And I put out a tweet this morning. I take the over in the Maui tournament every year because I got in my head when I was like 19 years old that the soft rims will always give me overs. It's feast week. It's just that we always go, the earth goes around the sun, and then we get back to this point, and I'm like sweating out, Toledo. Who's Toledo even playing?
Kansas City.
They were minus 18. I fell in love with Toledo. I tweeted a little bit earlier. I thought they had a chance at the national title in basketball. They were minus 18 against Kansas City, and they lost by like 40.
Yeah. So feast week, exciting.
You talk about going around the sun. It's this year, fifth year of doing this show this way, and every single week on Thanksgiving when the show is being rewatched, you're talking about basketball games from Monday.
I love it.
So
I'm actually
do.
kind of mad at the World Cup for stealing feast week. Like, I love feast week.
Yeah, it's throwing everybody off. So we will, of course, talk about all the games and then get to the game in just a little bit. Let's talk about the Thanksgiving game that I know Brandon Walker loves so much. Today, when this airs, is Thanksgiving, so happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Brandon.
Yes.
The Egg Bowl.
Yes.
So we will be streaming the Unnecessary Roughness crew.
One of the top rivalries in the country, the Egg Bowl.
Wait, what time is this show being aired on Thanksgiving Day?
This segment.
What time is it being aired?
Probably, 10 a.m. is my guess.
Okay, so Brandon's already had Thanksgiving dinner.
I have it at about 11 o'clock, 11 a.m. Yes.
Weirdo.
Yeah, it is.
No, you guys are weird for waiting all day. I get up and eat.
You're the only one that does it.
It's called Thanksgiving dinner.
I get up and eat. I don't know what y'all talking about.
I just wanted to point out that Brandon eats Thanksgiving dinner at 9:30 in the morning.
What do you eat for the rest of the day?
The Thanksgiving meal.
Your poor wife has to wake up before the roosters come up to cook that.
I help her cook it.
What do you cook?
I could. First of all, I made a delicious fettuccine Alfredo yesterday for my wife.
Oh, that's real tough.
Okay, well, I made the homemade sauce. I didn't even use real Alfredo. I didn't use canned Alfredo. I made the homemade sauce.
You probably just put some like easy mac in a pot, and you're like,
No, I
Alfredo.
cooked the chicken and I cooked the bacon down. I put bacon in it.
Yeah, you do eat very, very early, but it's okay because you have to fuel up for the U versus Ben Mintz Bowl.
Yeah, okay. I've been waiting for this moment.
Well, it's some are saying it's for the crown of the king of the South.
That's been established already. All right, he went against the family. I've never done
Wouldn't you say
that.
that, Dave? Wouldn't you say that if Ben Mintz wins this, the king of the South might be back up?
Mincy has a long way to go still. I
Okay.
think that's firmly in the Walker camp right now.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. No matter what happens, and I've been waiting for this for 3 years because Lane Kiffin, when he got to Ole Miss, changed things. He's a great coach. He's a phenomenal coach. But now that he is in his very last week coaching Ole Miss, now that he is getting ready and he's looking at houses in Auburn, Alabama, now that he is leaving, he's going to leave me with a gift when Mississippi State beats the shit out of Ole Miss on Thursday night, and on Friday he takes the Auburn job. It's going to be delicious. Yes,
You're right.
I know.
I'm taking Mississippi State too because you're right. Our Ole Miss was a dead dog against Arkansas. We saw two games on Saturday last week. Kansas,
Right.
Lance Leopold's got 1 foot out the door.
Right.
Texas just obliterated them. Ole Miss, Lane Kiffin's got 1 foot out the door. Arkansas blew the doors off them.
Mm-hmm.
You're right, Brandon. This is your day.
It is.
Yes, and the line keeps moving, getting smaller, moving down, and I have to ask,
Yeah.
what's the bet this year?
So we're working on the bet right now. We will finalize the bet before Thursday night. Ben's not here. He's down in the South, or he's somewhere. So he'll be back tomorrow. Well, on Pick Central, we'll figure out the bet. We will have the bet ready for Thursday.
So when
Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Do you text with your coach,
Who, me?
Brandon? Yeah.
Yeah, I've texted him before. I have his number, but I don't text during the season with him, no.
No.
Is that a bad thing?
No, I mean, we text a decent amount.
You and Mike Leach?
Yeah, me and Mike Leash.
You don't
have
even,
his
text me, Dave.
No, correct.
Yeah. You won't answer when I text. And I ask you Barstool things.
Yeah, no, well, Mike Leach ranks quite a bit higher than you in my ranking of worldwide humans.
I'm not real sure why that is. I mean, he's never worked for you or anything. He doesn't.
He's a great
College
guy.
He doesn't bust his ass for
Funny.
you like I do.
He's funny.
Very funny.
No, I don't. I'm respectful of the man's job. I don't bother him during
Well,
the
if you
season.
have anything you need to ask him during the season, you can filter
I
that.
can text Mike Leach right now. I don't need you as a go-between for Mike Leach.
Oh, sounds like you do.
So, Dave, as of Monday when we're recording this, Ole Miss is favored by 2.5. Who are you taking in the Egg Bowl?
Old Miss.
Why? Why?
I heard everything you just said. I expected Arkansas to kill Ole Miss. Arkansas got the quarterback back at home, night game. I think they're going to be up for this game, and I think they're better than Miss State. I'm rooting for your coach, but I do like Ole Miss here.
Well, the problem is that there's been this myth all year that they've been better than Mississippi State, but they really haven't. Ole Miss has skated by with the easiest schedule in the SEC. Their one decent win is a 3-point win at home against Kentucky. They haven't beaten anybody, and now Lane Kiffin is leaving. They know he's leaving. They're not playing hard for him. The running back who's going to go to Auburn with him isn't going to be busting his ass. I'm just telling you, it's going to be a big day for Brandon Walker.
Ev, what do you think about the Egg Bowl?
So, I mean, all for just looking at the line, I like Mississippi State. I am a little thrown up. Brandon last year was walking on giving this out like this was the play of the millennium, and they got boat race.
Well, what the fuck do you want me to do, Big F? Well, what do you want me to do? You want me to show up and be like, oh, we're going to lose to our rival?
No. But it was like cameras off, like.
Yeah, he said that
like
all
Ev.
year. He's like, we're going to
Ev.
beat their ass.
Like Ev, like.
Yeah, I remember that, Ev. Oh, man,
go
do
out.
I
Oh,
remember
sorry.
that.
Hey, like this.
Sorry
like, about-
for believing
about
in my
never giving
team.
you one, this is
No,
one.
that's not. See, that's different though. If I think Wisconsin's going to win a game or lose it, like I wouldn't tell you, oh, this is going to be a lock, and then have them come out and just lay a stinker.
Okay, I was wrong, but I believed in my team and I was wrong.
I do think.
I've
this
told you
Ole Miss
before
team-
when I say you should bet against Mississippi State. I do that all the
Yeah,
time.
you did. Yeah.
I do think that this Ole Miss team is much worse than it was last year, though. I will say that.
Their quarterback sucks.
I do like Mississippi State in the game. I do.
Well, why'd you?
And Mike Leach hasn't won the Egg Bowl yet. That's a big deal down south.
You stopped yourself because you were worried Dave would text Mike Leach.
No, I'm not worried about Dave texting. Dave's a grown ass man. He can text whoever he wants. Mike Leach is a grown ass man. I just think maybe I should use Mike Leach as when I need to text Dave something.
Maybe. So.
I text Mike, hey Mike, can you talk to Dave about something?
Maybe.
I need a couple days off. Mike, can you handle that for me?
It sounds like Mike Leach is way more important to Dave than you are.
I would text him right now, but he's in practice.
I think what I'm hearing is Brand Walker is taking Mississippi State simply based on he thinks they're going to lay down, correct?
Yeah. Yes.
Also, I'm taking Mississippi State because I'm a Mississippi State fan. I can't sit here and go any other way. Fuck Ole Miss.
Right.
I hate them.
It's the Egg Bowl. If you took Ole Miss, I'd be crazy.
I think Ole Miss will be ready for this game. I think they are. I think it's a pick 'em to a degree.
2017, Dan Mullen had a better team than Ole Miss, okay? But Dan Mullen was out the door. Dan Mullen was going to Florida. He hadn't told anybody yet, but he showed up. His eyes were empty and blank. Lane Kiffin's ass is in Auburn right now.
Let me ask you a question. So I think what Dave was getting at, like, let's pretend that Lane Kiffin was staying. Is Ole Miss?
Oh, yeah, that'd be a problem.
But is Ole Miss a way better team than Mississippi State if they both were trying their hardest?
Okay, I don't think they're a way better team, but they would be at home, and they've won this game twice in a row. So I would understand.
That is. I am not buying into Ole Miss is quitting on the season.
Well, and also,
Did you see them against Arkansas? They were down 42-6 before the game even started.
I did watch that game, and I think Arkansas was every once in a while. You walk into a situation or a place, and it's just bad timing. Arkansas was ready for that game. They were due for that game.
and Dan, you also said, like, if they were both trying their hardest, we all know we all have games against rivals. No matter what, both of these teams want to beat the shit out of each other.
Of course, but what Brandon's saying, and I actually agree with him, that's why I'm taking Mississippi State, there is something that's very unique to college football when a coach has one foot out the door and you can just tell the vibes change. Guys are saying to themselves, well, if he's looking out for himself, why am I not looking out for myself? The portal changes everything where guys can leave right away. Will you get max effort? I'm gonna side with Brandon Walker on this.
Brandon, I'm also going to side with you because I wouldn't dare go against my co-host during rivalry week in the Egg Bowl. I'm going to sit right next to you. I'll ring a cowbell right next to you.
I'm bringing some.
Oh, I know. Why
I should have brought one for today.
Yeah, why didn't
Thank
you?
God you didn't.
Katie, can you go upstairs and get my cowbell?
You guys are so annoying with your cowbells.
Here's the thing, though, is that if she brings one now for the rest of the show and you lose on Thursday when this airs on Saturday, you would look like an asshole.
But this isn't airing on Saturday. You said it was going to air on
Yeah, but by the time
Thursday,
she
yeah.
gets back, though, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's true. She's right.
Even if we lose, I'm still ringing them.
All right.
Okay, I will ring it with you. So Mississippi State is the pick for me as well. Let's go to the high noon weekend preview. Of course, every year, rivalry week is crazy. The Iron Bowl is always up there as one of the best in college football. However, this year we've seen how bad Auburn is. They fired Brian Harsin. Alabama right now on Monday favored by 21.5, the total at 48.5. But Brandon, as an SEC guy, we've talked a lot about Lane Kiffin going to Auburn. You are saying he's already out the door no matter what. That's the biggest storyline for Auburn right now. Also, we know Nick Saban always wants to beat the shit out of Auburn as well.
Yeah, well, Cadillac Williams is the main story for Auburn right now. He's got them actually playing hard. He's got them playing together. He's got them not giving in. You know, with the transfer portal, and a lot of these guys are not going to be playing for Auburn next year, they could easily cash in their chips and be like, fuck this. They're not doing that. And Caddy has them playing hard. Where is
Caddy?
That was good.
Yeah, Caddy.
I like it.
Caddy Williams.
Yeah.
Who is this Alabama team answers this question?
Well, you don't know.
I don't know.
You don't know.
I don't know. And they were bad last week against Austin Peay. Like, they won 34-0, but they were getting stopped on the goal line. And Auburn's 21.5 is a lot of points for an Auburn team that's going to be playing out of their ass.
Okay.
Yes.
So, yeah, there's a couple things that are working here because Cadillac Williams does have these guys playing. And Auburn is now I think you always have to put into your handicap bowl eligibility because these guys want to play another game. They want to go somewhere. It probably would just be like Shreveport or something, but that's fine. Alabama, I'm so torn on this game because I want to take Auburn, but am I crazy to say that if enough weird things happen, Alabama has a chance to get the playoffs?
It's going to be a lot, but
It'd have to be crazy.
listen,
But it's
Alabama fans think they do.
It's not as crazy as it was a week ago.
my only thought process on that, the steps that would take to get Alabama in, wouldn't you take Tennessee first? Or does the quarterback injury change that?
Quarterback injury and the way they lost to South Carolina. Alabama has lost on the last play of the game
Twice.
in 2 road environments.
Losing by
Tennessee
30.
got absolutely whooped.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. It's not only the way it's not the fact that Tennessee lost, but the way they lost and Hendon Hooker being hurt. I just there's enough weird things that could happen where.
So what do you need? What, USC to lose, TCU to lose, and then you think they're in?
I think USC loses, TCU loses.
Probably need Clemson to lose.
would have to
Maybe
lose.
Clemson to lose, and then I don't know.
That does it.
Yeah, that probably
And-
does it. And LSU
Because that
to
gets
lose.
gets both Big Ten teams in, that gets Georgia in, and there's one spot left.
Yeah,
That would be
probably does
insane.
it. It's crazy to say, but I think that it's not given who those teams TCU is going to have to play Kansas State, USC is going to have to play Notre Dame and Oregon. That's not that crazy for them to lose. And Clemson has not looked great, and I'm just saying that now makes me a little nervous about this game because I love Auburn,
But
and now
the
I'm thinking.
only thing about that, Dan, is that goes into the Walker theory of school. I don't care what Bama has going, what they play for. They're not that good.
Yeah.
And Auburn,
Agreed, but style points I just.
but they can't do it.
Okay, so maybe that's it. Maybe that's why you got to take Auburn. I'm
I'm taking Auburn. It's too many points. They're playing hard. I don't care. Bama has had multiple opportunities to bounce back, style points, this, that. They can't do it. It's a different Alabama team, despite what Walker says.
I'm just
No.
He's come around, but
No, it's despite what
You
Walker
can't. No, you
says.
can't. You can't keep me to a take that I had 3 weeks ago.
Yes.
You had it
Yes.
twice. I'm taking Auburn as well, but I'm just saying this is more of a hey everyone, heads up.
I agree.
You know, it's
they have a chance.
Yeah.
They have a chance to make it, but I don't think that's going to affect what they
Also,
do.
I gave Mike Leach your number. He wouldn't even have your number if I didn't
gave Mike Leach your number.
I gave Mike Leach his number.
I gave Mike Leach your number.
I hooked him up.
I had Mike Leach first.
I hooked him up.
He's a big fan of mine, and I appreciate
who
it.
saw him first?
I had Mike. I
got
Mike
it.
Leach.
I got the number from him, but when I went to
personally know
Starkville,
Mike Leach.
Mike Leach said, "Hey, can I get Dave Portnoy's
Yeah.
number?" And I started
And
to
guess
text him
what?
and be like, "Dave, can I give your number out?"
So
And
who started all that? Me. That's
Listen,
who.
I just asked.
I'm like
I didn't
Scarface
know.
right now.
Yes.
Who put this
I,
all
at one
together?
point-
Me. That's who.
At one point debated whether I was going to put Brandon on the text chain with me and Mike. I'm not going to because they don't talk. That's
well.
fine.
But we do talk. I gave you his. I gave
Well,
him your
not
number.
during season. I talk quite a bit with him.
And I was even worried about it. Should I give Dave Portnoy's number to Mike Leach? But no, I was like, it's
Of
Mike
course,
Leach.
I like Mike. Mike's a great guy.
He was on
a great guy,
comeback
too.
season back in 2018, but I guess why haven't we had him on our podcast yet?
Just
I had-
don't.
I had
He
the-
probably
we have
doesn't
had him
want
on
to.
our
I can
podcast.
ask.
I flew
I
down
want
there.
to ask. Hold on, I got to turn up the heat.
Remember when I
right,
pranked
you're
him
right,
with the
you're
yak?
right.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
I had him call into Friday Vibes.
Dave has to turn up the heat in Miami.
He's an old man.
That's true.
Isn't it like 80 degrees outside?
Yeah. I think he said AC, but Dave, did
I thought
you
he said
say
heat.
heat?
Did you say?
Did you say heat?
Yeah.
You have to turn up your heat?
Turn off the AC.
Got it.
Okay.
That's different
All
than turn
right.
up
Yes.
the heat.
Well, yeah, I have a situation. It's either Antarctica or it's too hot. I can't find a middle.
I was just nervous because if you are at the point of your life where you're turning up the heat in Florida, I was going to be concerned.
No, I'm still the Iceman.
Okay.
Yeah,
all right,
that's
good,
the old.
good.
I'm also going to take Auburn for the same reason that we've been talking about. Alabama has had plenty of chances this year to blow teams out. They haven't done it. 21.5 right now seems like way too much.
All I'm
In
saying,
the
I'm
Iron Bowl.
taking Auburn as well, but I'm just saying it's more like a heads up to everyone. Like, you know, like when you watch a movie and like the dog starts barking, you're like, why is the dog barking? And then like the aliens show up 10 minutes later. I'm the dog barking, being like, just be careful. Alabama's
That's science.
lurking somewhere.
Yeah.
You just described signs.
Yeah, science. Great movie.
It was pretty good.
Let's go to.
I never saw it.
Shyamalan's probably last good movie.
I feel like you'd be like the baseball guy in there, Brandon. Like he could
Oh,
hit
yeah.
a deep home run, but he just struck out all the time because he couldn't
Couldn't hit a curve.
lay off the curveball.
Yeah.
But he could
because
kill
he,
aliens.
Awesome, but again, I haven't
he
seen
thought
the
it
movie,
was
so
he thought it was wrong not to swing.
I don't.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't get the reference because I never seen the movie. But Pedro Serrano also couldn't hit a curveball.
But the good news for that character, he couldn't play baseball in real life, but he could kill aliens. So you have
So I'll be good.
you have
Well,
that working for
all
you.
right.
Well, not
Joaquin
really.
Phoenix.
You just throw water on.
I did see a
Anybody
UFO in
can do that.
1995.
I was trying.
Welcome to Chayas Club.
I was trying to give Brandon a little bit of credit.
Stephen Chase saw a UFO.
Yesterday, right?
That's
Yeah.
Newark Airport.
I think
true.
I've seen one. Listen, we got a guy who works here who's been part of the greatest UFO documentary of all time.
Yeah, Za. You got
Yeah.
almost abducted by aliens.
That is an actual fact.
Yeah.
Let's talk about TCU. So they're playing Iowa State this week. TCU right now favored by 10.5. The total at 47.5. And Dan, TCU fans were defending themselves like crazy last week against Tennessee fans.
They should.
They should. Tennessee fans were all over it because TCU found a crazy way to beat Baylor. I mean, the walk-off field goal doesn't even begin to describe how crazy and chaotic that was. However, TCU found another way to win. They are undefeated going against an Iowa State team who's only won one Big 12 game.
TCU fans have every right to be angry, defensive, combative online because I've never seen a Power 5 team get this late in the season undefeated and have so many people shit on them. And what happened last week when Tennessee fans, because I think what happened is you went into Saturday and Tennessee fans said TCU is going to lose this game and we're going to be set. So when TCU won, like they've been winning every game, the last second, Tennessee fans had a meltdown. They're like, this is not fair, this is not fair. They forgot about their own business. I think TCU wins this game. I think they cover. But I'm going to give credit to TCU because people are trying to take credit from them. I don't care who you play. I don't care how it goes down. I don't care if you win every game by one. To run the gauntlet that they have run and not slip up needs the tip of the cap in college football.
Well,
it's just,
I mean, they're going to get in the playoff if they go undefeated.
But it's just like, it's crazy to me that people are trying to take this team down when going undefeated is so hard to do.
But that was Tennessee fans begging for a way in. That was Tennessee fans trying to.
Right.
That's fans of another team that wants to get in saying they don't belong in because they're not as good as us.
But there were a lot of people, and I mean, I'm not saying this because you said you just thought they would lose. They haven't. But you said if they go undefeated, they deserve to be in the playoff.
Absolutely. It's not even a question.
Not even a question. There are a lot of people that are saying, well, the eye test, it's like, who fucking cares?
Well, anybody who says that should be thrown in prison. That's not a real statement.
They're basically saying,
if you go undefeated in a Power 5, you're in. Shut up with any of that.
The people who say the eye tests are basically saying the college football regular season shouldn't count, and it should just be the highest ranked SEC teams every year.
Yeah.
Insane anybody would say that. I will say Sonny Dykes should be thanking his lucky stars that field goal kicker came through because that would go down as one of the worst coaching decisions ever. I mean, to run that running play for absolutely no reason when you can spike the ball, do whatever, and take your time. That was crazy. But hey, guy hit it. That's all you play to win the game. They're undefeated. I was right. Baylor covered, but they're undefeated.
Yeah, the absolute chaos. Brandon, do you think they take care of business?
By the way, did you notice, Dan, that somebody tried to like pump Rico up? And they're like, after that game, like Rico was right. This is why we ride about TCU. And by the time I got around to quote tweeting, like checks notes, Baylor covered, they had already deleted the tweet.
Oh my God. I mean, that was, Dave, Rico, and not to make this about him, but him saying that speech, it was ringing in my head. I took the over. I think I lost by half a point. But then on Saturday morning, I was like, I'm taking Baylor because it kept on ringing in my head of him saying, Baylor doesn't have the horses. Look at what happened last week.
Yeah.
It was just like, it was ringing in my head all Saturday morning. I was like, boom, Baylor, have to play it.
I saw you quote tweeted something from the college football show, and you were changing your picks, and I saw that was one of them. I figured it had.
I had to because I just couldn't get out of my head. The guy just was like, Baylor lost 31-3. They'll never win a game ever again in program history. No.
And far be it from me, I had one of the worst weeks of picking games I've ever had. I was losing big most of the day. But yeah, Baylor was one of the few winners.
All right, here's the thing about TCU in the Big 12. Most teams in the Big 12 can score points, and most teams in the Big 12 struggle to stop teams. That's why TCU's been in shootouts every week. Shootout against Baylor, shootout against West Virginia, Kansas State, on and on and on. Iowa State is the odd man out in this conference. They can't score. They're absolutely garbage. They're not going to keep up in a shootout with TCU. TCU's going to score their 30. Iowa State can't keep up. TCU covers.
Ev, you mentioned when we were talking about this before the show that Iowa State, even though they've only won one game in conference, there have been a lot of close games. Do you think that they keep this close at all?
I actually kind of think they do because as Brandon is right, their offense is bad. They do have a very good defense. And this could kind of be another sneaky look ahead spot for TCU. Obviously, they have the Big 12 championship game next week. So I think they'll still win, but I'll take 10.5 with Iowa State.
And Dave, are you taking TCU or Iowa State?
I'm going to go with Big Ev. It's hard to say let down, look ahead, whatever, because they feel like TCU is deja vu every single week. But I think 10.5 is too much for them. I will take the points.
I'm going to flip. I'm going to take Iowa State. They're right. It's just the gauntlet that TCU's run. They're going to win this game, but they play every game close.
The only problem is this is a different team than everybody else. They can't score. They can't. This team can't score.
I'm flipping back to TCU.
I'm taking TCU. I mean, Iowa
No, you
State
should flip
does.
back.
No, this is the problem when we have to do these shows on Monday morning. My brain hasn't set in.
You're allowed to change it. We saw what you did
Yeah,
last
all right,
week. You're
all right. So
allowed
I'll
to
go with
change.
TCU, and if there's a material change, I'll let everyone know.
You've got plenty of days left. I'm
Yes.
also going to take TCU to cover this game. I mean, Iowa State can't score all of those things. I also think TCU, you talk about style points. I know that the fans being mad online doesn't equate to the team. However, I could see Sonny Dykes wanting to go out and prove.
You don't need style points. What do they give a fuck about style points?
Yeah, no, they don't.
They
just
don't.
need to win.
They don't. But I'm saying that people, I do feel like TCU fans are just waiting for them to blow somebody out so they can talk about it. Maybe it'll happen against
They
Iowa
don't
State.
have to. Though. They're going to have their chance to do their talking when they play in a. If they win out, they're going to be in the BCS.
Definitely.
Wow,
They
you're
are
right,
for
you're
sure.
right.
I know. It's
And
not
while
the
they don't-
BCS, chill out.
While they don't need the style points, it will be nice for that team and that fan base to have a game where they're not just sweating
Yes.
their ass off in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Where they say, "See, we're better, a lot better than this."
Yeah,
team."
like
Who cares?
I think you
And
would
by
like
the
it
way-
if you're a competitor, if you're in that game. You'd like to not be.
Undefeated. 0. Who cares? And by the way, Dan, you're going to switch back after looking at this. If you're looking, I'll start October, Iowa State. They lose Kansas State by 1, 10-9. Texas, they lose by a field goal.
They've been very close.
Oklahoma,
Yeah, all right,
2
I'm throwing on
touchdowns.
Iowa State because they have a spoiler. Like their season is nothing. They have this game.
Who did they spoil that time? Oklahoma State. Remember 2011.
Oklahoma.
Oklahoma State, I believe.
I think it was Oklahoma State.
Yeah, when Oklahoma State was going to get in, and it led to Alabama
was Oklahoma
LSU.
State.
They
Yes.
whooped them.
Yeah.
Yes. Also, Brandon, I'm on your side on this. It's like,
Yes,
if you
it was- Sorry, it was
Anyway.
Oklahoma State.
Yeah.
Because I remembered it was I think the Friday night game.
Right. Yeah.
And I bet Oklahoma State. I was
Yeah.
like, this team's so goddamn good. No way.
That's
it
how-
was at Iowa State, but yeah, I'm
Yeah.
taking Iowa State.
That's how we got the rematch with Alabama LSU.
Yep.
style,
Iowa State has only lost one game by more than 10 points this season.
yeah, they've all been very close, which is what Ev said. But style points is a cliche thing to say, but I think if you ask any team, they would rather win by 1,000,000 than win by 1. So I think TCU, it would be nice for them to blow
But
a
the
team out.
style points, not to keep going back to this, they don't get. Yeah, would you rather play great or play bad? But style points has nothing to do with what TCU is going to do in this game.
No, I think they're going to cover because I think they're going to try to win by as many points as they can, and they can against this Iowa State team.
I'm in an absolute dogfight to get 5 more points in Creighton versus Texas Tech in Hawaii.
It's feast week, baby. Let's
I
talk.
had no idea, Dan. I went back and forth on that game. I think I would have taken Creighton because I like Texas Tech, and for some reason, I have a very good radar early in college basketball of always being wrong.
Yeah.
Let's talk about South Carolina and Clemson, Dave. These two teams, they do
I would
absolutely
have
hate
won.
each other.
I would have won. I knew it. I got to start just fading myself.
Don't be afraid to fade yourself. So South Carolina seemed like they were a dead dog this season. People, were questioning Shane Beamer, and then they go out and they absolutely destroy Tennessee last week. Spencer Rattler had 6 touchdowns. Tennessee's defense looked terrible. Clemson, though, Dave, back in the playoff picture and, have a clear path, especially because the ACC has been so down. But when you look at this game, do you think we see Spencer Rattler in this offense the same way we did last week, or is Clemson's defense a completely different story?
I don't know how to answer. I think what we saw last week was an aberration.
Okay.
It's like I feel like it's a week where people finally were not looking at Tennessee. They just kind of put them in the win column before it happened, and that's when a lot of these wacky games happen. I think Clemson destroys them. I like Clemson.
Dan?
I'll give Brandon a shot on this because I kind of like South Carolina.
Me too.
Just because I don't know if Clemson has blowout ability, but what was the final score of the Miami game?
40-10.
Okay, that was blowout.
Yeah.
So I am stupid.
Clemson, do not let
Carolina's
Spencer
better.
Rattler fool you.
Yeah,
He
that's
stinks.
true.
He stinks.
Spencer Rattler is a classic. He has one good game. He's going to walk around. He's not going to look at the playbook.
The
He's
only
going to be like,
problem-
I'm the best.
The only problem with that is, can he score 7 to 14 points? I think the answer is yes. Clemson's offense stinks too. I mean, they really stink. DJ's not a very good quarterback. They don't have the weapons at receiver. I see this being like a 21-10 game. I think 14.5 is too many points.
Yeah, Clemson has a really good defense, but I mean, we've seen it happen earlier this season where they pull DJ. They'll bench him for their backup quarterback at any point. So it's the biggest question, Dan, is do you think Spencer Rattler in South Carolina can score at all?
I'm gonna take Clemson based on the spot. I'm gonna take Clemson based on the
I
spot.
also like the under.
South Carolina, that is the biggest game they've won in a very long time. It's hard to get back up if you're a college kid.
They're 7-4 though.
I can't get.
They're 7-4. Like South Carolina's not like 3-9.
It felt their season felt much worse than it actually is.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Yeah,
Well,
blown out by Georgia. They
you're not the biggest Florida fan, right, Walker?
Right.
They lost 38-6
Yeah.
the week before.
That's the problem. When they get beat, South Carolina gets destroyed. They got beat, 38-6 to Florida, and then they went and lost to Vanderbilt. It's I don't know. The East is weird.
So what are you doing?
I've already said it. I'm taking South Carolina and the under.
I was just
South Carolina and the under.
just
there's just one of those chances to quote Brandon Walker,
uh-oh.
because I think I stumbled across this tweet in my travels on Saturday after Michigan and Ohio State
Sure.
both struggled. He said, maybe, and I quote, Michigan and Ohio State both aren't worth a shit.
Worth a
or
shit.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you go see Tennessee lose by 40 to a team that last week was dead. And you got to really wonder, is anybody worth a shit in the SEC except Georgia? But you got the SEC loudmouths, as always, making believe that conference is good. They may just suck all the way top to bottom except Georgia.
So what's that got to do with Michigan and Ohio State possibly not being worth a shit? That doesn't. Those two paths don't cross.
No. Those are probably the second and third best. If those two teams are in the SEC, that's number 2 and number 3 in the SEC, and maybe Penn State 4.
Hit the over.
You think Penn State? You think Penn State's better than
Chaos.
LSU and Alabama and Tennessee?
Yeah, probably.
Okay, well,
Yeah,
Well, I
that-
mean, Tennessee. Did you just see what Tennessee did?
okay. Tennessee lost. Tennessee lost.
By
They also
30.
beat the shit out of LSU. Like I understand they lost.
Well,
They got an
yeah.
embarrassing loss.
You beat on right. You beat on the other SEC teams.
Hey, Dave, if you wanna-
hey, by the way, and I'm gonna check this out.
Why are we
And I
turning this
know-
into me? Is this?
Dave, the point you want to make is guess who won basically a home game for Tennessee last year in bowl season? That would be Purdue.
It wasn't
Like the 9th best team.
wasn't a home game. It was like 2 hours away from campus.
Yeah.
Nashville's not even close to Knoxville.
Okay.
earlier
And
this.
let's not. I mean, it's different.
Oh, he's googling something. God damn it.
I know.
No, I'm not Googling. I'm trying to find it. But I remember an early game this year where an ACC team, Florida State, beat LSU.
Okay. Yay. What are we talking about?
Well, Notre Dame has also lost to Marshall and Purdue, and then they have killed everybody in the ACC. The ACC is you can't talk about Florida State.
All right.
Of
Let's
course,
just.
I can talk about
move
Florida
on.
State. Florida
This is
State's-
rivalry between you and Ev. Why are you coming to me? Are you just practicing right now?
He's just warming up. He's getting the reps.
Yeah, we've got a couple more games to get there.
Florida State's arguably got a better resume than Bama.
Oh boy. Okay. Well, I'm going to keep it moving. I'm just going to take the under because I can't talk about this game anymore. Let's talk about Notre Dame at USC, another rivalry, a good color game. Dan, you were tweeting about the Rose Bowl. The UCLA USC game was awesome.
Awesome.
Caleb Williams, catapulted himself. He was already in the Heisman race, but he catapulted himself higher up in that conversation. And then Notre Dame, as we just talked about, has had a weird season. They've lost to really shitty teams, but then blown other teams out.
Yeah.
They absolutely just own the ACC right now. But when you look at this game and what's on the line for the Pac-12 with USC, what do you think is going to happen? And USC is favored by 5.5. The total 61.5.
Caleb Williams was incredible, but that was a game that UCLA could have won, should have won. Chip Kelly's inability to take his foot off the gas is what did them in. That end of the first half sequence, when it was clear that DTR was a little rattled, he throws a pick, USC goes down, attempts a field goal, misses it. UCLA, there's a minute left, go into half up 4. Instead, he throws another pick. They go down. Chip Kelly tries to ice the kicker. He misses it. Then he kicks it. He hits it. That's like, that right there was like, what are you doing? You're up 4. Go into the half up 4. And so I think Notre Dame, what USC is going to face in Notre Dame is so different than what they face in UCLA with an actual defense and a team that's going to try to control the clock, not these up and down, like, hey, you score, we score, back and forth. I like Notre Dame in the points. And Notre Dame, I believe, is undefeated against the spread and maybe undefeated straight up on the road this year. So they've been very good. And these are the games at Notre Dame, like, the reason why they have the schedule they have, the reason why they're not in a conference is for games like this, where you get to go all the way to the West Coast and you have all the West Coast recruits come out to that game and you see them take down USC, the best USC has been in a long time. This is another spot where it's spoiler season, their season. I'm taking Notre Dame.
Brandon?
Yeah, I'm taking Notre Dame too. I just think this feels like a classic game. It feels like it's going down to the wire, and it's nice to have a Notre Dame USC game that's very, very close. The bigger deal coming out of this is very important. The bigger deal coming out of this is Caleb Williams is absolutely in position to steal this Heisman late. He's got the game last week.
Lose.
He's got a big game. Yeah, but if he wins in his primetime spot, and he has a primetime spot next week, he has a chance to steal this Heisman. Otherwise, it's going to go to the winner of Ohio State, Michigan.
I agree. And then that's why when you talk about the Rose Bowl meaning something between UCLA and USC, it hasn't for a few years. Now, not only did he have that win, he had like almost 500 yards.
It was incredible.
He had 502 total yards.
He was so
he almost
good.
it was absolutely insane. I'm going to take USC here. I mean, Notre Dame has just confused most people all season. And I know.
But can I just say something right here? There's two different Notre Dames this year. There's the one in the first month, and then there's the one the rest of the season.
Done a lot better.
They have
they did lose to Stanford.
Stanford, that's who they lost.
I think that was in October, early October. Still,
that wasn't the first month anymore.
Okay,
they righted it.
How about first
then
six?
They lost
how about
Stanford.
first 6 games, next 6 games? Because they've gotten a lot better.
Yeah, and when we were talking earlier, saying that they've won games in the ACC, but then you losing to Marshall. I understand it's been a long time ago, but USC, despite the 1 point loss to Utah, they found ways to win games. 5.5 points right now doesn't seem like.
They also don't blow anybody out, though.
They do not.
You're taking USC.
Yeah, of course I'm taking USC.
You're taking stinking Riley.
I like stinking Riley. I like Caleb Williams and I like Jordan Addison. Dave?
I take Notre Dame here. I really could have used UCLA last week. Like, really could have used them. Really could have used them.
Me too. Dave, me too. Me too.
Really.
Damn.
Really could have used them.
Really.
They're my lock, my biggest bet of the weekend.
Ev, you could have used them.
And it sucked
My biggest
so
bet of the
bad that
weekend.
the game opened at 3.5. Really could have used them.
Yeah.
Really could have used them.
Just a bad weekend for
I'm
everybody.
taking Notre Dame, but I really could have used them.
Really could have used them. I also just want to shout out DTR. He's the type of guy I wish he could play college football forever. He's built for college football. Just the most chaotic energy of any quarterback. Like, he's running over people, hurdling people, throwing interceptions.
Yeah.
Like, hit sticking guys on the interceptions.
Yeah.
Literally anything can happen.
Anything could happen with DTR. I love watching him play.
Okay, it is time for the Game Time Game of the Week, which this game has been ramping up all season. We all know what it is. It's Michigan at Ohio State. It is the game, and if you want to go to the game, make sure you go download the Game Time app, create an account, and redeem code football for $20 off your first order. Now, when we do these shows in studio, especially for the last month or so, but really this whole season, it's been Dave versus Ev. We are finally here for this week. So Dave, I'm just going to open up the floor to you right now when we're recording this. Ohio State favored by 7.5, the total at 57, both teams undefeated, playoff on the line. The floor is yours.
Yeah, well, this is really about a quest for respect for Michigan because we demolished Ohio State last year. They couldn't stop the run. We physically embarrassed them. We physically dominated them. We beat the ever-living shit out of them. That's what we did. And people just ignored it from Ohio State. Ev ignored it. Brandon Walker ignored it. All the fans of Ohio State ignored it as though it didn't happen. Like, okay, that was a fluke. We'll see what happens. So this year, we're going to do the same exact thing. Now, I got to see the injury report. I mean, we lost like our entire fucking team. We didn't have the running back, Corum, our number one wide receiver, out. Our tight end, out. Everyone out. I don't know where we're at. We need those guys back.
Dave,
Sounds like he's making pre-excuses.
Yeah, I mean, so we've been playing without that all year.
Sounds like he's making
I
pre-excuses.
will say, Dave,
Well, there's a difference between playing without them and losing them all last week. I think they're going to be back.
Blake Corum said, and I mean, granted, it was in a viral video of him delivering Thanksgiving food, but he did say, it's good, I'll be fine, I'm back. It has been reported that Donovan Edwards will also be available to play.
Right. So then that's great. And we will massacre this team. You guys are sitting here like excuses. If you lose your 5 top offensive players, that affects what happened.
How many games has Travion Henderson
Honestly,
played
it
this
hasn't
year?
affected us. I mean, I don't know about.
That's one.
Who else?
I mean, Jack's with the jig.
Well, no. He doesn't count.
What do you mean he doesn't count?
He opted out. He opted out with both.
No,
he did
no,
the
he
Bosa.
didn't.
He opted out.
No, he didn't.
He absolutely opted
No, he
out.
didn't.
Big F.
You're
He
full
opted
of
out. I
shit.
told you that. And
He
I
did
told you
not
that in
opt out. He's
October.
hurt.
I told you that in October, and you were like, no. He
No,
posted.
no,
And I have no problem with it.
You don't have.
But
you don't
let's
have
just
your
say
facts
that's not an
incorrect.
injury. That's not an
It is
injury. He opted out.
He
opted out.
literally
He opted out. Brandon, back me up. He opted out.
He came back and immediately reacted
He
to the
opted
injury
out.
in the Iowa game.
He opted out.
No, that's bullshit.
I have no problem.
Everyone
with
that's
kids
watching,
opting
that's
out.
nonsense.
I have
Absolute
no problem with
nonsense.
kids opting out. He opted
Nonsense.
out.
Nonsense.
You can't say that's an injury when you opt out.
But it was a real injury.
Right, but he opted out.
No, he didn't. He's still trying to play. He got hurt again.
He's opted out.
He literally was bad. Like he was out for a few weeks.
This
He got
is
hurt.
between
The
you.
first
All right, don't
seven
worry
games.
about that. Don't worry about that. You still got great receivers.
Yes. So, Ev, now the floor is yours. Would you like to go against what Dave
Of course,
just
thank
said?
you, Casey. Of
course.
What Dave is saying about last year, listen, it's true. They beat us up at the line of scrimmage. 100%. They dominated the game. They beat us up. What he's forgetting is that same team is not there. Hutchinson is not there. Alabo is not there. Daxel is not. The defense is not the same. The offensive line is still solid. But he's also forgetting our front seven is much, much better. The one flaw I would say we have is defending the pass, which they do not do very well. I mean, this is a completely different matchup, completely different teams. We're going to dominate this game.
No, you're not. Ohio State hasn't dominated in a month and a half.
We've won every game this year by double digits. Every single game.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
That's
all
a
right,
fact.
yeah. You ball off a helmet at the buzzer. You struggle with Northwestern. You struggle with Illinois.
No,
that was you.
Illinois. You struggled with Illinois.
That's
Maryland.
Not, I want to defend Dave. Rico's neighbor took his phone during that game.
Northwestern, Maryland, Penn State.
You struggle with Maryland too. Like you struggle with Maryland, you struggle with Iowa.
Yeah, we're
we can play this back and forth game.
We're a 7.5 point underdog. We're going to come into your house and we're going to mash you. We're
No,
going to
you're gonna
mash
get
you
beat
like
up.
mashed potatoes because you're weak and you know you're weak. You play this finesse, throw it around the yard offense. You don't have an ounce of manhood in you. Your coach was born on third base. He doesn't know how to play physical football, and you get mangled because somewhere along the way, Ohio State turned into a cutesy Houston Oilers run and shoot type offense. And when you play man football like last year, you get fucking squashed. And that's what's going to happen. And it's sad for Ohio, which I consider a tough blue collar state, to play that type of pussy, afraid to line it up and play man to man. Let's who's stronger, control the tensions, Big Ten football.
No, because
that's
the
what's
brain
gonna
dead
happen.
people from
You're
Michigan
built-
like you.
You're built for
No, let's hear it go.
fancy,
Finish up.
warm weather. I don't even know, type like the WAC conference, so you just throw it around. You're playing man football. You're playing Big Ten football. It's going to be cold. You're going to get hammered.
You done?
Yes.
No, because as much as you like to chirp on our friend Rico Bosco about, this happened last week, blah, blah, you think just because something happened last year, it's going to happen again. That's not how this works.
That
is not how this works. We are a team that can run the ball. You're out there complaining, I don't know, we don't have quorum. This guy's out. Last year,
We had 5 injuries
last week, we're on third string running back. We just stuff it down the throat in the second half. We're struggling. We stuff it down the throat in the second half, run for over 150 yards, 3 touchdowns, take over the game. We can play physical too. But on top of that, we can throw it all over the place. And we're going to throw it over on you. We're going to run it on you. We're going to score probably 50 points.
You're mentally weak.
It
Oh my
truly
God, I
is.
can't wait.
Saturday, so
when
we
Dave
are
leaves in the third quarter.
we are for sure streaming.
No, we're locking the door.
Again.
Yeah, so
We're locking the door.
it's a lock-in, so there will be nobody leaving the Hoboken house. So this will
Well,
be.
I mean, I only left because Pete couldn't keep the TVs working.
And because you're getting embarrassed.
he did.
Oh,
Fire
I wasn't.
Pete
I think we
twice.
were probably fucking winning at the time.
You were never winning that game.
Okay, so just
You
for
want to talk about living in the past? Holy shit! We are going to beat the piss out of you. Is what we're
Not
going to do, Big
capable
F.
of it.
So
You don't have the same team.
So
You don't have the
said
same
last year.
team.
That's what you said last year.
we'll let them wrap the segment up in just a second, but just quickly, we do need to get our picks in. So, Dan, who are you taking for this?
I actually think both these teams aren't that great, and I would love to lean the under. I actually think the under is going to hit, but I don't want to sit there and watch the under. So based off of my theory that the under is going to hit, 7.5 points is too much. Ohio State's offense has never felt like it's hit its full stride. Michigan's offense, I told you, Dave, that quarterback, it makes me nervous.
He didn't look great last week.
He hasn't looked great a lot of weeks. There's something about him that, like, red zone, getting touchdowns, not field goals. I'm a little nervous about that aspect of the game, so I think it's going to be pretty low scoring, and if it's low scoring, 7.5 is a lot of points.
Brandon, J.J. McCarthy did make a couple of very...
Skip it.
No,
Walker
not skip
takes
it. No,
Ohio
I get to
State.
talk too.
No,
I get to talk too. Here's the
Here
thing.
it comes.
You said Ohio State hasn't blown anybody out in a
Here's
month.
Ohio
Their last
State.
5 scores,
Blah,
43-30, 56-14, 21-7,
43-30 is not a blowout.
I didn't say it was. 54-10, 56-14. They've been scoring a lot of points. And here's the big deal. Blake Corum is a little hurt. Donovan Edwards is a little hurt.
Deion Henderson is a little hurt. Jackson Smith-Njigba has opted out.
Their offense is fine without those players. Michigan's is not because J.J.
just don't make
McCarthy, the
excuses.
quarterback, fucking stinks.
He's bad.
He is not good, and they are not equipped to win a shootout, and Ohio State's going to make it
Does this
that.
guy know about anything?
Ohio State, Ohio State, Ohio State. That's the pick.
I don't know if J.J. McCarthy just stinks.
Ohio State.
He's made some questionable. I mean, that's
Why do
J.J.
we even have
McCarthy
to? Why are
stinks.
we even
I don't
letting him
think
talk about this? He
stinks.
doesn't. He is an SEC homer who hasn't given Michigan an ounce of respect in 2 years.
You guys are 11-0. I give you all the respect in the world. You've
you
been
don't.
able to take advantage of a weak conference, and you showed up at 11-0.
So,
Week
Brandon,
conference says who?
Says me. Says everybody
Exactly.
that watches.
how many points does Ohio State win by?
I think they win this game somewhere in the neighborhood of 42-24, something like that.
That's a wampin.
That was a wampin.
I think
You think it's going to be that high scoring? I don't think it's going to be that high scoring.
at Ohio
it's the over?
with
I
this
think over.
Fine, add the over.
The last few of the last 4 or 5 all been over.
Fuck it. Add the
Last
over.
year
said you
cruised
like the
over.
under?
I do like the under, but I'm
Just per
always
game,
wrong when I like
over. I
under.
think the
Yeah.
over.
Last year cruised over, and it was a tight. It was like a.
I understand. I just
Yeah,
You-
it's
the
because
last
they
few
couldn't
cruised
stop
over.
the run because they're a weak, mentally weak, finesse
Dave.
team. So even when we're trying to run the clock out, we're running for 14
But your running
yards
backs
a
are
carry.
hurt, Dave. Your running backs are hurt.
Dave, I told you that
They do
quarterback
have
makes
two
me
of them, though.
nervous. I'm going to take
They're fake
Michigan.
tough guys.
Do I look nervous?
Fake tough guys.
So
That quarterback makes me nervous,
Fake
Dave.
tough guys.
he some questionable plays. However, I don't think he's that terrible. But I do think that Blake Corum and Donovan Edwards, even a little bit injured, the two of them being able to play again together, Ohio State does struggle. Now, I think it's going to be a close game. I've been saying all year I think Michigan's going to win, so I'm going to stick with that. But the bigger question, it's not about the three of us. This is not about what we think. This is about Dave and Ev here. So, Ev, I will start with you here. What is your percentage of confidence that Ohio State wins this game?
95.
Oh,
I mean,
it's a little low.
Do you think that's low?
We're gonna win the game. I mean, it's football.
I'm 100, Casey.
See?
Okay,
See?
so Dave's going 100. That was-
100%.
I mean, you set me up there going first, but I mean, we're
No,
gonna win the game.
No,
It's
you're
that simple.
nervous. You're nervous. I have no doubt. Ev, Fat Boy has doubt. You heard it.
Yeah, that wasn't a great look, Ev. We got to be 100%.
No, but he doesn't lie. 95. That's fine. I'm 100%. We are going to beat this team. Now, the question becomes, does Ohio State deserve to be in the playoff after losing? I think probably yes, but we can talk about that on the next show.
Ohio State would be deserving. Michigan would not.
Correct.
For sure.
Because we're Michigan. I get it.
No, but you only have one
no,
win.
I get it. I
because they're
get
not
it.
good.
No, Ohio
Because they
State
played-
has a better non-conference schedule that can hold up against some of the
boy.
other
Played the
resumes.
most
Not
cowardly
our fault.
non-conference schedule in the history of Power
Played
5
are having
football.
down years. They're scheduled 10 years in advance.
yeah,
That's a lie. That's a lie. They were
I-
playing UCLA this year. They were playing UCLA, and they opted out in 2020.
The non-conference thing will definitely
you know
come
what?
back.
You don't know what you're talking about.
I know exactly
Brandon
what I'm
Walker.
talking about.
Who told you that?
The internet, reality, life. That happened.
The internet?
That happened.
The internet?
The truth, reality. That happened.
Actually, UCLA ran out of money as like a school. Didn't their athletic program? Remember they like
That's why they're going to the Big Ten to get all
yeah,
the Michigan
right,
and Ohio State
right.
money. Yeah.
And I think Michigan paid them to not play.
The good news, Brandon, is we will see. We will all be sitting together in Hoboken to watch this game.
I just want the best team to win. I have no rooting interest.
Well, you
Yeah,
do.
right. You don't. You fucking piece of shit liar.
Well, it's finally here.
I
so
don't know
we will
this
figure
guy.
it out.
He is like honorary Buckeye. I've never seen anything like it.
I just call it how I see it,
His
brother.
school stinks.
Brother?
His school's never in the mix, so he's a Buckeye.
Brother?
I don't know if I've ever heard you call Dave brother.
He
Bro.
can't. You know what? He can't latch on to another SEC school, so he's
I
migrated
could.
over.
I could latch on to Georgia. They beat you by 30 last year.
Georgia's a great team.
All right. Fair enough.
We will see. It'll be a hell of a show. So if you're watching this right now in just a few hours, tune in. And I expect there to be a lot of fireworks and nobody can leave. So we will be locked in. Let's go to the rowback.
We leave?
No.
No, we
I
can't
don't
leave.
think
No one
it's-
can leave.
Do you want to
No
leave?
one can leave.
I'm just saying.
Well, I get the only way you would want to leave is if like Ohio State's getting killed and he goes
Just
after
move
you.
on to the next.
Oh, okay. All right. It's time to go to the Rowback Dog of the Week. We're all wearing our Rowback today. I feel like these are the new ones. It's got the Barstool logo. Black Friday, Cyber Monday is coming up, so make sure that you check that out. Also, go to rowback.com for 20% off your first purchase if you use the code football. They have been our wardrobe sponsor all year. We absolutely love them. So we talked a lot about South Carolina earlier in this show, and you remember last year whenever Shane Beamer celebrated on the sideline when they were down 38-7 against Tennessee, and Tennessee fans just memed the shit out of him. He is my underdog of the week because that is a dead meme now. He no longer has to deal with it.
Yep.
Tennessee fans cannot make fun of Shane Beamer anymore. And I know that people have doubted his job there a little bit, but when he's winning, that team loves to play for him. And so now that Tennessee fans can't make fun of him more, Shane Beamer, dog of the week.
Fair
Dave,
enough.
dog of the week.
Listen, there's an underdog in the state of Michigan that has had to listen for basically a year straight how the absolute physical beating they put on Ohio, that the domination they did, that the just ass whooping that they put on this team was a fluke. And it shows they're undefeated. They're cruising into Columbus, a touchdown plus underdog. Disrespectful. It's like people don't have eyeballs. They love to hate Michigan. Harbaugh's going to go in there with this team, and we're going to maul them in the most Big Ten physical, bully, embarrassing way a team can get mauled. My dog of the week is Michigan. The men at Michigan.
Ev.
My dog of the week is Ohio State true freshman running back Dallin Hayden, who Mayan Williams goes down, Trayvon Henderson goes down. We don't make excuses like Davey tissue paper. We just put the next man up, true freshman running back. We stuff the ball down their throat, 3 second-half touchdowns, go win a football game. That's what we do. Dallin Hayden, my dog of the week.
Dan.
My dog of the week is Wisconsin head coach, should be head coach, no longer interim, Jim Leonhard. Some people were murmuring that maybe he wasn't the guy. Some former alum, tweeting in the middle of the Nebraska game. No clue who that could be, but those haters are idiots. He then brings the team back. A lot of weird stuff going on with Wisconsin the last couple weeks. Braylon Allen getting tampered by Michigan. Scumbags, Dave. Jim Leonhard goes and beats Nebraska, who is one of the most storied programs in college football history. Pull the interim tag. Let's make this thing official. He's my dog of the week.
When did you make that decision?
When they won against Nebraska, after I had tweeted that he's not the guy in the second quarter.
Brandon, your dog of the week?
My dog of the week is my dog, Sam Pittman. I love Sam Pittman. I love a good fat coach.
up.
I love Arkansas. Ole Miss showed up there last week, and Arkansas just walked the dog on their overrated, stinking asses. Sam Pittman, you deserve a cold beer. I love you. I love a girthy coach. Sam Pittman's a dog of the week, and I don't know what that was I knocked off.
You just knocked off some decorations, but it is nice to see you come back around on Sam Pittman.
I've always been a Sam Pittman guy.
Always.
Oh, that's why you named your actual dog Sam.
Sam, yeah.
After
He's
Sam
my
Pittman?
dog of the week.
Loves fat coaches.
Yep.
Nobody will ever have receipts of you saying the opposite, I promise.
Correct.
Never.
They beat Ole Miss. What do you want me to do?
No,
And it was delicious.
I'm on your side here.
So delicious. I might not eat for the rest of the month. Probably will. But.
Well, you definitely will. You'll be eating in about 10 minutes when the show's over. High Noon Trivia, Brandon. It is time for you to shine.
Yes. So first of all, High Noon is the drink of college football season. If you haven't gotten the tailgate pack, do it. Whether you're on your couch or you're at an actual tailgate, get the High Noon tailgate pack. It has the pear, the cranberry. There's all sorts of great flavors out there. High Noon. All right. Prior to last season, The last time Michigan and Ohio State had 2 players in the top 5 of the Heisman was over a decade ago.
This is so easy.
Name those players.
That's an iconic game. Do you want me to name it or you want me to ruin it? You want me to ruin it?
Do the initials.
I mean, it's the easiest question. That was 1 versus 2, dude.
All right. Well, yeah, but name the player. Okay.
That was
That's fine.
so easy.
That's fine.
That game was one of the
Dave
best
doesn't
games
know it.
ever.
He's a Michigan guy.
I know. I answered.
Who'd you say?
Woodson.
Okay, well, that's not right. So nobody else
Wheatley?
knows it. Big F doesn't know it. So it wasn't that easy.
I think I do know
That game was just an iconic game. What was the final score? 41?
42-39.
It was Braxton
Robinson?
and
No, it's not.
No,
See?
no,
See?
no,
There's your
no,
question.
no.
There's your question.
Come on,
wait,
guys.
Denard?
The last time that Ohio State and Michigan had 2 top 5 Heisman finishers in the same season before 2021, when was it and who were they?
Are we moving on?
It was 1 versus 2.
All right, move on.
All right, we're moving on. That is high noon trivia.
Tough look for those guys.
Denard, Teddy. It's not.
I remember that morning so vividly.
Denard was never the quarterback of a number 1 team or 2 team.
All right.
Wisconsin had a
drawing a
game,
blank.
I think at night that night, and I was blackout drunk for that game.
That was when we thought there would be a rematch.
Yes,
And
and
then
I drank so much whiskey that morning watching that game and just being like, this game rules, and then I don't even remember what happened after that.
What year was that again? That was
2006.
6, so you were...
6?
It was 2006.
Yeah.
you were in college, right?
Yeah. It was a junior.
Yeah, me too. I was in college.
So my
Yeah,
defense,
yeah,
I had
you
no
were-
Ohio State ties then. Dave did, though.
I was in college.
Yeah, you were. All right, so
Dave, you know
what
the
I-
answer to that.
I can't remember what I had for breakfast.
we're going to just keep it moving. That is high
Tyrone Wheatley.
No.
It's only off by 15
noon trivia.
years.
Mike Hart?
Can we just move on?
Yeah, we're going to move on. Big F.
Mike Hart, Ted Ginn?
Shut the fuck up. Can we move on?
Nope. Half.
How do you not know the other one? He's the one that
Let's
won.
go.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Oh, Troy.
Yeah, we're moving on.
blank.
Big
Moving
F.
on.
Section of the year presented by Cheez-It. I'm just going to send it over to you because I feel like if I keep it here, we're going to talk about trivia again. So go ahead.
Yeah, the Big F section presented by Cheez. This college football season, we are feeling the cheesiest. With cheese to be a great snack, Cheez-It gives 100% real cheese, crunch, and deliciousness. Fuel your game day hunger with bold, cheesy, crunchy satisfaction. We're going to Toledo. This is Toledo's video. Really, they rolled out the red carpet for us. Dave got the key. We're on the field. It was awesome.
Big Cat.
It should be Big Cat got the key. Shout out Toledo.
It's your boy Big F. We're here in Toledo, the Glass Bowl. Action. We got Dave and Dan with me. Shout out to Cheez for making it possible. We're on the field. Toledo's gonna run it up. We're here to find out who's the best fan section of all college football. It might be in the Midwest. It might be a little school action. Shout out Toledo. Go Rockets, baby. Let's go.
Did it.
Who else is out here? Snow, sleet, rain, cold, wind, Tuesday. These guys, I haven't seen them.
Don't do that.
He's yawning. He's not cut out for this. It's too cold. This is
tired.
It's 40 degrees. It's easy.
I got 4 kids.
Action.
All right. What does it mean to you to be a Toledo Rocket?
Go Blue, baby! Yeah! Go Blue! Let's go Rockets! Let's go Rockets!
We're in the student section right now. This is the rowdiest student section maybe we've been in pound for pound with the Rockets, the yellow guys. All right, the Glass Bowl was awesome. Shout out to Cheezer for making it happen. Been an unreal year. Last stop, Army Navy.
See you there.
Was this
Go
an
Army,
awesome?
beat Navy.
Was this an awesome experience with how much we lost?
Look at the snow. It looks like heaven.
Was this an awesome experience?
Snow looks like
It's a
heaven.
kids program. I try to keep it
Okay,
up.
all right. I love cheesing, but and the snow's
the
great.
snow, Big Ev,
I love
Santa.
Toledo, but I would have loved Toledo a lot more if they could have scored.
I'm 0-4. I get it.
Ball State, maybe.
Yeah,
It's 1911.
Yeah. Thank you to Cheese It. God bless.
Shout out to the Toledo mayor who went to Michigan.
Yeah.
That 30
All-time
loop
plot
out of
twist.
Michigan.
Well, it's not that. It's not that surprising. It really isn't.
Because he was a smart guy.
Correct. You go get your degree at Michigan. If you're from Ohio, you come back there, and then you become king.
Yeah, quite a memory on that guy. Let's go to Proper Picks, presented by Proper Number 12 Irish Whiskey. We've talked a lot about how cold it was at Maction last week, Dan, but you guys kept warm.
Yes.
With your Proper Number 12. Also, let's just call it how it is. Dave has destroyed all of us this year. He is the only one that's even close to being good on this show for picking, but we still have to keep doing it. So, Dan, take it away.
Proper Number 12 Irish Whiskey, the best Irish whiskey in the world. Also, they give donations to veterans, so they support our troops. Proper Number 12. The Proper Picks brought to you by Proper Number 12, the best Irish whiskey. My Proper Number 12, speaking of the Irish, I'm taking Notre Dame, plus 5.5.
There you go.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's freezing outside. Nothing like a good shot,
It's
Brandon.
the best.
Just very quickly, I want to talk to the people that do the standings. No disrespect to Casey Smith, she's great, but she's placed in second on this list. I'm in third, and my record is better than hers by percentages. I'm 6-6-3. She's 7-9. Not a big deal. I'm actually in
It
second
is
place.
true, but like I said, it doesn't matter because Dave's.
No, it matters. I feel like we're lining up for next year. You know, you never know.
I know.
I'd like
Didn't
to
you win?
finish second. I'd like to finish second.
Didn't he? No one cares who finishes second. Didn't you win last year? Did you get?
I did. I got some Bitcoin. It
With FTX.
sure did.
Oh my
Did you
God.
take it out?
I took it out and used it as a down payment on a house.
Oh, look at you.
Oh, so you,
Good,
but
smart,
you got
smart.
yeah, you
You
took
beat
it
the
out.
system.
Yeah,
I beat
okay.
the system.
Wow.
Yeah. So it all
Yes.
worked out for me. Anyway,
At the end of the day, Dave's standings are the ones that matter.
I hate to take a shot at you, Casey,
I don't
but
give a
there's
fuck.
one program out there that's just deader than dead right now, and that is where players don't want to play, coaches don't want to coach, fans don't want to attend. Texas A&M, LSU minus 9.5 on the road.
I love that.
LSU on the road at Texas A&M. It's going to be mostly LSU fans in that building, and they're a better team, and they're playing for something. Texas A&M is dead. All they're doing is trying to defend the transfer portal. LSU minus 9.5.
You can't hurt me anymore.
I'm not trying to. It's just my.
No, I'm saying you said not to take a shot at you. You can't hurt me anymore.
All right.
All right, Ev, what's your lock of the week?
Ohio State minus 7.5 next.
Okay. All right.
Wow.
Well, I assume I'm. Dave, is your pick of the week?
Listen, there's a team from the state of Michigan that gets absolutely no respect. They went and played Ohio State last year, and they didn't beat them, Casey.
Last
They
year.
physically emasculated them.
Mm-hmm.
They dominated them. They put them on a pedestal. They put them on a poster. They put them on a stamp. They did whatever they wanted to do. They said, we are men, and you are not. This team, Michigan, has lost one game since then, and that was to Georgia, who is arguably one of the great football teams of our generation. They're great. But other than that, they haven't lost. They continue to impose their will, and they're going to go down. And for the sake of the rivalry, I hope we beat them so bad that they get rid of Chris Day, who was born on third base. It doesn't matter, Walker, what his name is. He was born on third base. And they stop playing this fancy pants arena league finesse offense and get back to Big Ten football for the good people of Ohio. Michigan wins the game. That's my mortal lock.
I should have seen that coming. I should have let them go last. I'm going to take Tennessee over Vanderbilt. The line has been.
Be careful here, Casey.
The reason is
Okay.
because Big T has told me that Joe Milton is the guy.
No,
Well,
so
he's
that's
lying
the
to
dumbest
you.
thing you could ever
Joe
do.
Milton's one of the worst
Yeah,
quarterbacks
no,
ever
no,
put on,
no.
cleats.
That is not why. But I do think that Joe Milton, and I think Tennessee is going to take you.
Vanderbilt
Vanderbilt has
He's a
beaten
cannon for an
Kentucky.
arm, but he sucks.
They're not bad.
I know they're not bad, but they've beaten Vanderbilt. They've beaten Kentucky. I mean, they've beaten Florida and Kentucky. I think Tennessee's going to take their frustrations out. You don't think so, huh?
No, this
All right, let go.
season
I think
is ended.
Who's that
Our
old-
season's
who's
over.
that-
Yeah.
I think it's team that
Who's
caught
that
the stride.
old
Good
Arkansas quarterback that played for Michigan? He played for the Patriots a little
Mallett.
bit.
Ryan
Ryan
Mallett.
Ryan
Couldn't wake up
Mallett
with
and
an
Joe
alarm
Milton.
clock.
They're two
Listen.
guys who
Yeah.
just have the least touch of anybody. The biggest arms at the
Yep.
least touch
Yep.
ever.
Joe
Yep.
Milton will throw a touchdown pass that's like 20 rows into the stands. I get that. I just think Tennessee had the easiest thing in the world to do, and that was to just sit back and beat South Carolina and beat Vanderbilt, and they were probably going to be in the playoff. That's obviously no longer going to happen. I understand Vandy's not a bad team, but I just feel like this is a spot where Tennessee is just going to take out all of their frustrations, and I think the line right now is 13.5, so I am going to take that. I know Joe Milton's not very good, but I also, I want Big T to be happy. That's what I want.
Why?
Yeah, why?
Because he's
And
nice
I don't
to me.
think I got to be honest. I don't think Big T is going to be happy with a Vanderbilt win.
No. He's happy with Joe Milton. So-
Heupel's a good coach. I'll give you Heupel's a good coach. So if he might have him ready, but
Yeah,
But that's
the spot.
The whole season is deflated.
yeah.
It is, but I think
Not only losing, but losing your quarterback
well,
too.
and they lose Hendon Hooker, which was a sad thing, and obviously the fans love him. But also, like, if you're gonna take your frustrations out, it's Vanderbilt's the team to do it
Nope,
against.
not this year.
We'll see.
I mean, they've been playing pretty good.
They have. I mean, like I said, they beat Florida and Kentucky, but I'm just going to do it. I think Tennessee is going to bounce back, even though it doesn't matter because they're not in the playoff and they're all sad about that. Let's go to the Hooters top 10. We've been talking about Hooters all year. If you're watching the show and then you want to go watch games, you're not going to a game, make sure to go to Hooters. They've got the cold beer, the wings, all the TVs, the girls. Go to hooters.com/football to learn more. So let's unveil our communal top 10, which I don't think has changed very much. So Georgia, Ohio State, Michigan, TCU, USC, LSU, Clemson, Alabama, Tennessee, and Penn State. There's really not much to argue about because those number 2 and number 3 spots we're going to figure out right after this show.
I put Michigan at 2 just because I knew Big Ev would leave Michigan completely off his top 10, so I was trying to keep a little bit of sanctity to this.
I didn't even notice that. Yeah, you, and Dave all have Michigan at number 2, and Ev just does not.
I just knew it was. I think Ohio State should be 2 over Michigan, but Big Ev.
Well,
I had to
Dave
make a counter move on Big Ev.
has Ohio State at number 4. So
I do as well.
Yeah, so
That was my counter move.
Disrespectful.
I mean, that was my counter move. I knew you don't even have Michigan.
Wow,
for Dave, I
Ohio
understand what
State
you
hasn't
did.
beaten Dick, and they're going to get their fucking dick kicked in on Saturday.
You mean the second easiest schedule in college football, Dave? Michigan?
Yeah. Well, you could barely beat Penn State. We humiliated.
smoked
I can't
them.
wait. Just, you know what? I got to call at 5. I don't want to deal with this fat boy. I'll see him in the Jersey in the gambling cave, and we're going to kick that fat boy's ass just like we did last year because we're going to be more physical. We're going to run the ball down their throat, and the good people of Ohio deserve better than this arena league, finesse, throw it around the yard, beat up on bad teams. When you play a good team, get your 2 front teeth kicked in. That's what's going to happen on Saturday.
and that's the show.
He's taking a flight to get teabagged in Jersey and back home.
T-back. All right, fat boy. We'll see you. And
right.
by the way,
Teabagged,
I
and then I'll
have
see you at March Madness.
carte blanche to call him fat boy from this moment till the end of that game. Fat boy.
Everybody?
No, just Ev. Listen, just Ev.
All right, that's
I'm
the
good with
show. Like I said, tune into
not
the
so bad
stream.
being a
It'll
fat
be
boy.
heated, and apparently Dave will be saying a lot of fat boys. So have a good day, and hopefully we
I
all
don't
survive.
even have my headsets in. I can't hear what the fat boy's saying.
See ya. One thing to remember when you're gambling on the Barstool Sportsbook app, make sure that you gamble responsibly, know your odds, know your chances of losing.
Gamble responsibly. Nobody wants to end up in a trash can.
You can play with Penn National, which is a licensed and regulated operator. Big words. If you have a problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.